Welcome back to another training video using the UK Electrical Simulator. In a previous video, we looked at how the three-plate lighting method is wired within many UK homes. This method was widely used with traditional ceiling roses and pendant light fittings. As lighting styles changed with downlights, more compact fittings, and other modern ceiling accessories becoming more common, the two-plate method became a popular alternative. However, you will still find the three-plate method in many older and existing properties, especially where traditional ceiling roses are in place. Whereas in newer installations, the two-plate method is often preferred because it keeps the light fitting less crowded and moves the loop connections away from the ceiling rose, usually to the switch position or to another separate connection point, such as a junction box or maintenance-free connector. We'll look at junction box-based arrangements in a separate video. On the left-hand side of the workspace, we already have the three-plate method wired from circuit 4 using a bus component. If you are not yet familiar with the bus component, take a look at our earlier demo videos, where we explain how it works. Let's switch on both light switches and view the flow through the circuit. In the three-plate method, the permanent loop line, the neutral and CPC earth conductors are all taken to the ceiling rose and then looped from rose to rose around the lighting circuit. A cable is then taken from the rose down to the switch, providing the permanent line feed to the switch and the switched line return, along with the CPC earth wire. This enables the lamps to energize. In the two-plate method, those loop connections are moved away from the ceiling rose. The light fitting is then usually left with just the neutral, a switched line and an earth, making it a much simpler connection point. On the right-hand side of the workspace, we have several components ready to wire using the two-plate method. In bedroom 1, we have a one-way switch and a ceiling rose, and in bedroom 2, we also have a one-way switch, but this time we have two LED lights. Although we still have a ceiling rose in bedroom 1, we are not wiring it in the same way as the three-plate method. Instead, we take our line conductor from L5 directly to the COM terminal of the first switch. We also take our earth conductor from E5 to the switch's earth terminal. Now, unlike the ceiling rose used in the three-plate method, a standard one-way switch does not provide a neutral terminal. So if we want to loop the neutral at the switch position, we need a separate connector inside the back box, such as a Wago-style connector. In the simulator, we can represent that by double-clicking the switch, which adds an extra connector terminal. We can connect a neutral conductor from N5 to the new backbox connector C. At this point, the first switch position now has a permanent line feed, a neutral loop connector, and a CPC earth connection. To energize the first lamp, we then connect the switched line from L1 on the switch to SWL1 on the ceiling rose. We connect a neutral conductor from the lamp neutral terminal back down to the backbox connector C, and then connect the earth conductors as required. Now when we energize C5 on the bus and switch on the first switch for each method, both lights come on, but the feed arrangement is clearly different. In the three-plate method, the supply goes to the ceiling rose first, whereas in the two-plate method, the supply goes to the switch position first. Now let's switch both lights off, isolate C5 and extend the two-plate circuit into bedroom 2. First, connect a permanent line conductor from the COM terminal of the first switch to the COM terminal of the second switch. Next, connect a neutral conductor from the backbox connector C at the first switch to the matching connector at the second switch. Then connect a CPC earth conductor between the earth terminals of both switches. To provide power to the first LED in bedroom 2, connect the switched line from L1 on the second switch to the SWL terminal of LED 1. Then connect the neutral from LED 1 back to the backbox connector C and connect the earth conductors as required. We can then extend the switched line, the neutral and earth from LED 1 to LED 2, so that both fittings operate together from the same switch. Now energize C5 and switch on all 4 light switches. We can clearly see that in the three-plate method, the supply is looped between the ceiling roses, while in the two-plate method, the supply is looped between the switch positions. Both methods achieve the same end result. They energize the lighting points correctly, but they do so in different ways. Each method has its own advantages and disadvantages. One may use more cable in certain layouts, while the other may make the light fitting itself simpler and less crowded. One method will allow you to test at the switches, whereas the other will have you climbing ladders. The important thing is to understand how each method is arranged, where the loop connections are made, and how the switched line reaches the fitting. I hope you enjoyed this video comparing the 2-plate and 3-plate methods of wiring a lighting circuit. In the next video, we'll move on to 2-way switches and show you exactly how they are wired within a typical UK lighting circuit. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.